and make it work, because he clearly is confident and comfortable on those heroes, knowing where the windows of opportunity are and where the power spikes are.
That is true. We'll find out whether or not Aurora wants to stick to the same old style here, because game number 3 is now on the horizon. Both these teams did win their matches in game 1, so their positions in the wildcard itself are still pretty secure, but another victory would push them even closer to those top 2 spots. Now with IMPERIO on the blue side, LILGUN on the red side, we'll find out how game 3 goes.
Well, they used the advantage of having the first pick, because for me, actually, if I'm a coach, I would choose to be on the red side always. Why?
Okay.
Because I think that maybe I can open up, because the meta right now has multiple heroes, right? So if I'll be on the red side, I'll be able to take 2 really good picks in exchange for 1.
Well, that also exposes your hand faster though, especially against a team that is so good at punishing your picks. Sometimes teams just want to go with the first pick, get something that's super good, and then they want to see. You pick 2 heroes, what is it? Can we read what your aim is in the draft by those 2 picks? But already a huge difference right here, by the way. The Mathilda, of course, is immediately respected. The Arlet Joy, the Arlet is banned away, but now the Nolan is left open. You have to wonder if that is what IMPERIO are targeting. Will Coach Mitch notice and take, shut it down?
Yeah.
But it's not really like an Aurora hero though. Do you think there's a chance there? Oh, never mind.
Oh,
Yep, they're
they
just gonna
do.
lock it down. Even if it's not necessarily an Aurora hero, the hero itself is just
an
a little...
Aurora hero is something now. An
Yeah,
Aurora
it's
hero.
is there a way to even it an Oriro?
Well, first pick for IMPERIO though is gonna be the Terizla. It has been banned away by LILGUN for 2 games consistently.
Ooh.
Finally now it's open, and we've seen Marquinhos, man likes to make plays.
Yeah. I think that with the Khalid that he pulled off last game with the Flicker Ultimates, I think that the penalty zone just works more than fine with the same kind of strategy. So there should be a reason why his Terizla was banned.
Well, it's also a lot more difficult to deal with compared to the Khalid. You have the same kind of crowd control, but you have damage and you have tankiness as well. You have, for those of you who don't know back at home, the lower HP you get, the more tanky you get on the Terizla. But for LILGUNs, now they get that Bruno pick, and with the Faramis, it's still also already a counter to the trade strategy. And usually the only real way to deal with it is going for a Valentina. So will that make an appearance? Because I think that Fashion can pull it off, kind of.
Yeah, it's not too bad a choice here, and a pretty obvious choice when you see the Nether Realm. But
never mind.
Go for the Lilia instead, the more aggressive option with zone control to try and take out the members of LILGUN, who are quite generally grouped together. So could definitely work, especially when comboed with that penalty zone. What are your thoughts about the current state of the draft, Yasu?
Well, IMPERIO are definitely going for that crowd control, and so annoying composition, because they also have that slowdown effect by the Lilia, and also the high damage that Lilia can deal. But oh yeah, I was just about to say that, and I was just about to also ask Arashi. They do have a good team fight and an early game. They just needed a late game, but I think that the response is already there. A Cloud being pulled off by Team IMPERIO.
And it's a lot of AoE damage right here. The penalty zone, the Vengeance Strikes from the Terizla, all the spells are technically AoE. And with a Claude, with a Lilia as well, there's a lot of ways for them to just melt through the Netherrealm in the late game. But they have to try and lock down the members of LILGUN in order to try and do that in the first place. Not to mention that the security from the Black Shoes and the Battle Mirror Image is going to allow them to be a lot safer from the early game dives. But here, I think we're up to 46, 47. Uranus in the hands of LILGUN.
But I have a wild guess before we even hit to the second phase of picking. I would actually want to ask you, Sadafa, do you think that we might have an area crowd control roamer to sum it up for Team IMPERIO?
Area crowd control roamer, so along the lines of Minotaur, Atlas. I actually think it's not a bad choice, right? They're already tripling down on the AoE damage, because they know that LILGUN is gonna run at them as a 5-man. So honestly, a Minotaur makes a lot of sense in this situation. But we'll see whether or not that does end up being the choice, because I feel like LILGUN will also recognize that these AoE combos are a big threat to a NetherRealm comp.
I do wonder if the Edith is going to make an appearance as well, because it seems like that's a go-to solution for Imperio, and for LG, I think they can use it too. So it depends on what they want to do right here, and where exactly is this Faramis going? Because it's still flexible. We know that Ethan likes going with the Roam Faramis, as Duffer has already mentioned yesterday. But with the Rafaela picked up, it seems like they're trying to go for slows. They're going to go for chase here for Imperio. Diggy? Is Diggy going to show up? It's been banned a lot, by the way.
Ooh, Diggy actually could be interesting, considering the amount of AoE that Imperio already have. We'll see whether or not they do decide to go for that. What I am wondering right now is the fact that LILGUN banned out the Dirov when the Terizla is already there means that they are focusing on the jungle. They think a jungle Dirov may have been a possibility, and with the Fanny gone as well, now I'm really wondering what they want to give to Zexora. We have to know Baxia is still open, but a lot of the supports they play with it are gone. Do they still go for it?
Well, I mean, the Angela, the glaring go-to support is
really?
available. So there's that to play around with if they want to.
Wow.
Yeah, if they want to like flex the Faramis into Roam, Angela mid, maybe Baxia, that's gonna be so annoying, man. Uranus, Baxia with an Angela. For Imperio though, are they gonna ban the Angela here, or are they gonna ban, like you said, maybe the Minotaur, right? That can be a bit more troublesome to deal with when you're clumped together for the Nether Realm.
So many questions, only one answer. It is the Minotaur. Imperio Esports are not going to give LILGUN an easy counter-engage tool. And now we get to get some more answers. Will LILGUN want to show their jungle in advance? We'll have to see, because right now this Faramis is still very flexible overall.
Well, I think that we might see an array row, right? It says array row.
Aurora
Hero. So we might, because banning Fanny and also the Dirov, I think that Aurora has like variety, like his drafting pool is so huge that he can go for assassins, he can go for fighters, he can go for tanky heroes or utility heroes. There you have it. Angela upon the side of Team LILGUN.
Called it, dude. As a response to the Baxia we taken away, I thought that was the only way. I don't know if Aurora plays a mean Baxia, but letting it go right here is going to be so dangerous. I think with this, they want to get something aggressive. Crowd control that's a bit more guaranteed, right? If it's a skill-based crowd control, that's great and all, but they need to be able to actually lock someone down here and really shut him down.
Yeah, I agree with you as well. A little bit more CC is going to go a long way. Baxia already counters Angela naturally, but if they can top it off with one more final pick to really complete the draft, they have
Franco?
pretty good too. Franco! I mean, it's not bad. Either that or the Kaja to counter the Heart Guard. But
Ruby!
There you go. There you go. You asked for it. You asked for someone annoying.
48?
Huh?
48?
Yeah, I think that we're going up there. I think that I really need to know how many new heroes do we have. But there's something that actually caught my eye at, on the side of Team LILGUN. I think that Uranus didn't need to be more annoying than he really is. He have that Faramis so he can turn into a zombie. And also he have that Angela. So I don't know if he will die this game.
We'll have to see, man. Against a Claude, against a Lilia, that's a lot of damage. The thing is, against such a short lockdown, I'm not confident that he's going to be able to do it. And with the Martis now picked up, man, that is a Martis-Angela combo against a Baxia Ruby. I can't help but feel like it's not exactly a winning fight for the side of Imperio.
And it's going to be tricky. If Martis is able to resist crowd control, so is a very obvious on-paper counter to the Ruby CC Yasu. Who do you have your predictions on here?
Well, I think that maybe I'm like behind in terms of the meta because there's a lot of new stuff happening here at the M5 Wild Card. So I would actually like to see how will Imperio execute their lineup. But what's more interesting in LILGUN, for me, I will lean toward Team Imperio.
Ooh, leaning
more
towards
logical.
Imperio. All right, all right. I have a bit of a bias towards Ruby, but I want my prediction to be correct, so I'm torn. But these players are about to clash upon the Land of Dawn for the last time here for our first series of the day. Will it be Team LILGUN with the momentum on their side, or will it be Imperio Esports? Have they made the adjustments they needed?
I just feel like for Imperio, they have to avoid the crazy early game fights. that LILGUN are going to try and rope them in. If they can do that, I think in the late game, like we said, already AoE coming in from the Claude, from the Lilia, they have the healing reduction as well. There are ways here for them to really come out on top, especially against the lower amount of magical damage coming in with an Angela Faramis. So I think execution is more important. If we're looking for the draft overall, I must say, I feel like I would side more for LILGUN just because IMPERIO, they're shown to be just that much, that feisty to just go all in the early game, and that's dangerous against the Martis, dude.
Switching your prediction this late into the game?
Well, I mean, the prediction is a prediction, but I think it favors them. I didn't say that they're gonna win for sure.
Okay, okay, I get where you're coming from. Looking at the emblems, I don't think anything's too out of the ordinary here overall. What I'm most curious about is which lane is going to get the most pressure this game?
I think it has to be the gold lane still. The Cloud against the Bruno is it's an okay matchup, but look at Stevie.
Stevie is in a really bad spot. He needs to use that flicker, but it is a first blood. It is a first blood. Team LILGUN has just begun.
They're so efficient, right? Literally every single time Zexora hits level 4 on the Martis, it's go time. It's like, let's use that Decimate cooldown the moment we get it.
It's almost like IMPERIO doesn't respect it. They should know, man. They like playing that style as well, but when they're on the receiving end, they just seem to kind of get lost. And with the Uranus as a factor right here, they're gonna need some more items to actually be able to take down the Uranus. So I think they have to be a lot more careful here. There's just no way I think they can really brute force the early game.
Yeah, especially with the Angela Martis combo. Aizen's not even level 4, and he's
by not having that flicker, he should be punished once again and again and again. Stevie, he's down for the second time in a row, and Team LILGUN just precedes the turtle duty, but Marquinhos with that flicker, with the ultimate zone on the flicker, but they are still committing to it. Aurora is coming from the back line, and also to Rizla is dealing some good damage. Aizen is trying so hard to be that annoying, and he is annoying. He doesn't need to try so hard. IMPERIO team pulls back, and the turtle goes safely to the side of Team LILGUN.
Man, the Uranus just annoying, buying so much time for the team, and the Martis just all in on the objectives. It's a deadly combination, and it's difficult to deal with. I think IMPERIO's best move is to just like mirror it and go for other things outside of the map. Aurora can really counter jungle very efficiently with the Boxia, and IMPERIO, they can just put all their pressure onto Bebex.
Ooh, Bebex in trouble.
He is in trouble. He is indeed in trouble. He needs the Angela ultimate. He needs to survive. He needs to keep that early game going on. Bebex is trying to survive, and Ethan just saved him from an inevitable death.
Yeah, that's a massive win for Team LILGUN. A 4-man gank, and they're not even able to get one kill or any gold shield from the tower. LILGUN are in full control of this early game. The Heart Guard, we already know how dangerous of a tool it is. Both aggressive and defensive utility, and LILGUN are making full use of it.
I feel like IMPERIO are just tunneling too hard on the team fights, man, because they need someone to really help with the lockdown in these moments. But with the Ruby used for a team fight, and whoa, one man died!
He will survive. Oh, I thought he will survive. He cannot deal with that damage, and Marquinhos is trying to annoy Aizen, but you cannot annoy someone who's annoying, right?
I think he can't, there's no way he does enough damage, and he can't really outmaneuver as well, so he has no option but to let the cut happen.
Aizen, his only job here is just to keep Marquinhos in the lane. As long as that's done, the Team LILGUN can just go ham across the rest of the map, and that's exactly what we're seeing. Not to mention, the direct counter of Zexora's Martis to Steffe's Ruby is really showing itself, because Steffe cannot find any opportunities to engage. Every single time, the Martis just stands in front of him and doesn't care.
I think the whole idea is to use the shield unity as well as the penalty zone to engage, but no.
Oh, what was that, Marquinhos? What was that? They are still committing such a really perfect gameplay. Stevie's out, Marquinhos out, everyone is out. They started everything, but on the counter, Aizen is finishing it off. Aizen is finishing it off. A triple kill for the side of Team LILGUN. They started that fight, IMPERIO, but they couldn't just end it.
Got the kill onto Zora, but it just isn't worth trading all of those bodies. Now with the turtle up, I think Team LILGUN can still have the advantage. You're gonna go for it immediately. That's a 2.6k gold swing right off the bat.
Yeah, this is looking pretty bad for Imperio Esports. It was a good start, finally being able to punish Zexora, get his shutdown gold, but losing that many members is never going to be worth it. We're still going to try and force something though. The turtle is back up in the land of Dawn. Team LILGUN already in position, but this time they've sent Bebex to split push the other side of the map. So the longer this takes, the worse it is for Imperio.
It is not just a turtle dance. MLBB had danced with a high chance to lose it, and now they do lose it. Look at Aizen, he is shut down. That was needed for Team Imperio, and they do get what they wanted. Ethan is still alive, but just on that Netherland. Oh, that was cold. That was a cold retribution. That was a cold execution. He's still going for it, and he gets that double kill. He gives them okay. I'm okay. Are you okay? I'm okay. I'm getting that turtle. I'm getting that double kill, and Team LILGUN are still in the lead.
And they're not even able to punish Bevex, split pushing down in the bottom lane. As time goes on, LILGUN is just running away with more and more from this game. And as more structures fall, the less of the map Imperio has to play with.
They're not playing these fights right. I mean, they went all in for the objective right there against a Martis, who I believe had like a level advantage. So I think they could have gone for the members of LILGUN first. But now Aizen just doing his thing again and again. There is damage available for Imperio, but Aizen needs to watch his step.
Oh, he should go in. He should come in. You didn't want to come in, right? Now you should deal with the consequences of your own choice. Aizen was there, and he survived, but I think at this point, Framis was like a side casualty.
He had the Nether Realm available, but he did not even get to pop it, or he thought it wasn't necessary. Either way, it's a small victory for Imperio, but they have to really, this lack of a lockdown, man. I said I expected like a Franco or something. That's the problem. Fashion has damage, we're seeing it, but he can't land it when everyone is just moving around so rapidly. With the speed boost from the Angela, with the dashes from the Uranus, there's so many ways that Team LILGUN can avoid the damage of this Lilia.
Unfortunately, Steffi's role in this game has really been reduced because Aizen and Zexora can so easily out-micro him on the map. But it was a very good split fight by Marquinhos to be able to get that kill in the first place. Forbid actually didn't need to die there. So if Imperio are still able to find these opportunities, they still have a chance. The net worth difference is not that big yet, though. It's a lot more than you would want at this stage.
Well, we saw that was what happened last game. See, they have to be a bit more controlled. Now they're going for a pickup right here, but what are they going to try and use? There's nothing there, and now they get cut off by the Uranus.
But they are now in a really bad position. Team Imperio are now between the hands of Team LILGUN if they want to go in, but there you see it. It was a really bad execution with that penalty zone, but there's the ultimate of Zexora. If he can't go in, Marquinhos is out, CP is out, and look at this. It is a massacre happening at the bot lane, and also Bibix goes in. Bibix wants to get that kill, even if he was like threatened by the fire of that turret. Bibix wants to get that kill, even if it means his life. Even if it means his life. Even if it means his life. His life has been valued, and Team Imperio are now wiped out.
I'm now realizing that the Team LILGUN, the tower line is more of a suggestion. It's like, maybe you should avoid it. And they're like, how about no?
Dude, Bevex with the huge balls, they do so much damage there. Just life-stealing back up against 1v1 against Ur on the Claude. Showing again the big power spike from the Has claws that he's built up. Man, it got a shutdown on the Martis, but now Ethan has the flask of the Oasis. It's gonna be even harder to really get a value pickoff. And that was, all things considered, pretty good for Imperio. They missed the penalty zone, they missed the I'm offended, and somehow, some way, they get something. They could have gotten absolutely nothing at all.
Forbid is now in a really bad position, but he goes back to his teammates. Nether Realm has been triggered right now, and Aurora is in a really bad place. And the land is lava, but this time it is not your time, Baxia. He's out, and he's gonna be missed at the time of the Lord.
Aizen?
Oh, Aizen is trying to escape, but here he comes.
Damage.
Poppy, boom. He comes in, and Ethan saves Aizen. Not just that, Aizen is still committing and just dealing such damage and just dealing such amount of annoying. This guy is annoying. He's playing an annoying hero, and he is getting under the skin of Team Imperio.
They can't prevent him from popping the the consecration. Man.
Yeah, that has to be so demoralizing for Imperial Esports. They literally used everything on this one player, and he couldn't touch him. Aizen just standing there taunting with his very presence. And now the Lord is going to be pushing in. Only the first Lord of the game, so it shouldn't be too difficult to defend. But with an already 8k net worth lead for Team LILGUN, they're looking for as many as they can get.
Who will be lucky enough to get that Papi Boom bless from you, Ethan? Let's see together if this Lord will be effective for the side of Team LILGUN. They do have that momentum, they do have that damage, and Bebex wants to take that top lane with the balls. He's trying, and he is, let's say, he is dealing so much damage, but he couldn't get that turret.
Oof, okay, no base towers taken just yet. Now we're back to the same situation. It's an 8k gold lead, and there is good clear, there is crowd control available. LILGUN, I don't think, can just all in brute force. If you look at the items for Ur, he does have the core items. On top of that, also the corrosion side. So he has damage, and I think he's the only real one that can be relied on to really carry in the late game right here. Fashion has damage as well, but it's just a bit too unreliable unless they're kiting backwards into their own base. That is where they have to try and, gamble it out, go for that 50-50 team fights. Or they can just try and fight Team LILGUN as the Lord. But if they want to do so, they have to try and find the picks, man. They have to try and take 1v1 for 1 for maybe the gold lane or the mid lane, because otherwise they don't win it out in the overall damage output.
Yeah, I think Imperial Esports basically just needs to be more patient right now. They cannot allow themselves to get taunted too easily by Team LILGUN, because it's already clear at this stage, even if they dump all of their ultimates into Aizen, he's just going to shrug it off like nothing happened. They got to wait for more opportune moments, because until now, Marquinhos especially has been very desperate to find the catch that his team needs, and Team LILGUN is just maneuvering very safely, not to mention the Netherrealm and Heartguard on top of that.
I might be looking wrong, but I think Aizen has just built a fleeting time.
Did he?
Oh, really?
You have to look at the items.
I gotta see that.
He doesn't want to die.
Items, but I think it's there, and that is insane. That means that this is a bit more aggressive than you would expect, because he's using it in expectation of getting a kill or an assist. That is insane, and it might just be next level, man. That could be exactly what they require. For now, though, I think Team LILGUN, knowing that the Lord is about to be up, they're not willing to actually venture into the jungle of Imperio, just in case someone gets jumped on.
Yeah, I think it's a smart choice. They still gotta give some respect to their opponents, because as long as that patience is exercised, there's still a lot of catch. And Ur is definitely starting to build up damage. The Trinity is already completed, so he is a legitimate threat if LILGUN is not careful. They already faced their punishment in game 1. They're not gonna let that repeat.
Wave on the bottom side pushing here. Actually, it's so close to the base of Imperio, it might just rebound back towards LILGUN. But no, Ur goes to clear it out. And for Team LILGUN, yes, they're ahead, but they can't really have the same kind of damage output to rush it. And Stipe,
the penalty zone. The penalty zone, he goes in, and on the other side, Papi Moon is coming now, and Bebex is in, having that blast. Bebex is having that blast, and Aizen is saying, just keep them coming. Keep them coming, it's just a stack for me. Keep your damage coming. He goes down, and Team Imperial now is in a really bad place, losing 2 members, having not enough amount of damage to deal with that minion rush that's coming from the bot lane. 5 members attacking from the side of Team LILGUN. They might just finish it here, they might just finish it now, but they will wait for that Lord push.
Not patient enough. Again, there's no reason for Imperial Esports to force these engagements. You're trying to start the fight on Aizen, which is literally the worst target you could go for. And I do like that Yer was trying to aim down Bebex, but there needs to be an understanding. At this stage, Bruno can easily 1v1 the Claude. So Imperial Esports are just digging themselves into a deeper hole.
That was just a bit too difficult for it to really work out, man. Unless Stipe gets a better target, I don't think there's any value in making that play. And right now, with the waves coming in, finally, it's going to be a 50-50 right here. Can they make something happen? I mean, the Blazing Duet has been out-damaged, out-sustained by Bebex, but now, Marquinhos.
With the goal difference, a worlds apart between both teams. The penalty zone has been triggered. Yeah, but it is here now. I asked for it. Here he comes, Marquinhos. Look at that hook. Look at that hook. You cannot do any damage because of the Nether Realm passive. And look, they are still committing so much casualties. They are still taking and demanding Team Imperio Esports to pull down. They are taking so much damage than they can handle, but that's why the Angela is there. That's why Angela and Ethan have your back. Team LILGUN are still taking so much turrets, dealing so much damage, and the minions will just take care of the rest. The minions will just take care of the rest. A reverse sweep once again for Team LILGUN.
A beautiful attempt by Imperio Esports, probably the best team fight they had the entire game. But Team LILGUN are just too good. There's too much sustain. There's too much of a goal difference. And this team is so good at dancing in and out of these team fights. The reverse sweep has happened once again for representatives from Mongolia. They are going to be looking very comfortable to securing those tickets to M5. But Imperio Esports definitely showing their potential on that stage as well.
You have to wonder if it's intentional, right? If they're experimenting in game one. Because every single time they do a reverse sweep, it does seem like it's a completely different team altogether. They might just be hiding their strategy or, playing possum, feigning to be an irregular team, even though they're just maybe practicing for longer duration matches.
Is it starting to become a little bit too much to be a coincidence?
Well, do you think that they need to be irritated so that they pull off the best?
They gotta have that.
Like you have to get under their skin.
They gotta have the emotional buff. They gotta be annoyed. It is actually the anime power up, right?
Yeah, the underdog buff almost, right? When nothing is supposed to go your way, everything just works, man. I think that's what maybe that's what they like doing, right? They like feeling like they're the underdogs, and they like to surprise everyone who's predicting that they're gonna lose, like me and Yasu, for instance. So finally, Zafa, you got the right prediction.
Finally.
Congratulations, dude. But man, what a great match we had right there. It's back and forth, and we saw like what, 6 new heroes? I think we're definitely gonna go past 50, 100%.
Yeah, I knew we were probably gonna go past 50. I just wasn't expecting it to happen so quickly.
Like this fast.
This team saw the number 43 there. It's like, we can do better than that. Come on, guys, we can do better. It's like just a gentleman's agreement to pick as many new heroes as possible. And I am honestly a fan. I always love it when we get to see lots of different picks on a stage like this.
Well, as I told you, after the second game, I'm sure that Team LILGUN would have done get with that output, because at the first game, as I told you, they were in charge, in command. We can say they were also doing everything since minute 1, but then it took just one mistake for them to everything flip upside down. But at the second game, they didn't do mistakes, they prevented mistakes, and they did a one-sided game. Third game, for me, it was a little bit predictable.
You may not be wrong there. Very succinct summary. But of course, we have to award our MVP once again. And this time, for Game 3, it is going over to Bebex on the side of Team LILGUN. He doesn't get the chance to shine very often just because every player on this team is so strong. But on a hero like that, Bruno, where he can really start making an impact in terms of damage, that's where the man shines.
Even 1v1 the Claude right there. We saw that there was a Blazing Duet attempt, and he just stood his ground and said, "What are you doing? Who are you? I 1v1'd you earlier, I can do it again." Completely nukes down the opposing Claude, and he's going with a very aggressive emblem, and he has tenacity. Look at that. Usually we see a weapon mastery in order to actually get that late game, more damage in that late game. But he went with the tenacity, knowing that there's going to be a lot of attention going his way. All calculated, and you can't help but feel like it's all planned.
Definitely helps a lot to be able to win out those 1v1 duels when you just get a little bit tankier towards the later half of your HP.
50%.
And that can catch people off guard as well. I think definitely yours stayed a bit too long thinking, hey, I can do this, right? And then the ball just hits him square in the face.
And this is the problem here. Let's take a look at some of the highlights. For the side of Imperio, I feel like the only roamer that can really work here is a roamer with good lockdown or a roamer with good mobility. Because otherwise, you can't really lock anyone down, and so you can't get the pick-off onto like Aizen or Zora even when they get the opportunity. And even you can't even escape from the Martis chasing you down. So that was already so difficult to deal with. Afterwards, in true Imperio style, they just keep fighting and fighting, and they're just banking on winning one of these fights, out-executing the whole team of LILGUN. But it's only gonna work so many times before LILGUN gets a read on it, you know?
Yeah.
Team LILGUN just feels like masters of the battlefield somehow. The way that they extend fights, the way that
Look at
they
this.
disrespect boundaries.
Dude.
Pepek's just like,
Wow.
this is my base now. And even being able to trade 2 kills in exchange for himself at that point is insane.
Well, I have to ask Arashi something. How would it feel when you're like that close to controlling your lane and then the opponent team comes, or like the opponent laner comes to you with 3 kills?
Wait, who are you talking about?
That Aizen just like got back to Trizla with 3 kills, a triple kill in the early game.
Yeah, I mean, Uranus, dude, is just such a good hero, especially again, there's no real counter right here. Imperio want to go aggressive, but what tools do they really have, actually? They have the penalty zone, and I'm offended, and that's about it. And LILGUN's positioning, by the way, is very, very good as well. For now, though, let's slow down a bit and take a look at some of the stats. Off the bat, the fact that there's no turrets, no turtles, no lords must be a painful conclusion. And even in the jungle, LILGUN is just beating them out. Looking at the emblems, you're just seeing a lot more emphasis in the speed here. Both teams know that it's about kiting, right? They have agilities, Wilderness Blessing still. And for Aizen, he went with the Festival of Blood, dude. Usually we see a firmness, right? To try and like augment his tankiness or tenacity. No, he went with the Festival of Blood. He wants to be that aggressive, wants to go in. In the end stage right here, it turns out that there is no fleeting time. We might have miss-saw that. But he is just he has more than enough tankiness to just stay in the front, absorb everything. And on the worst case scenario that he is just taken too low, the hard guard is always there to save the day.
It's a case of Uranus just being too much of a pain in the butt, basically.
Look, I want to actually like highlight Aizen for something. He's almost done with his itemization, and on the other side, the XP laner Marquinhos couldn't even like get the last 3 items. So he was so far behind.
He was mixing it too, because he was taking a lot of different kinds of damage,
Yeah.
right? Ability, basic attacks. He has a Dreadnought armor right there and a steel leg plates, just to ensure that he gets a lot of the cheaper components to try and buff up his armor as much as possible. For now though, the cards right here, the sandbag is Aizen, almost 200k, dude. That will do it.
Yeah.
The standing in the front, taking everything.
And he had so little depths as well. When you add on the regen on the Uranus and the hard guard, it was impossible for Imperio to get through this front
Forgetting
line.
the Netherrealm?
Yeah, the Netherrealm on top of that. Like, so much was happening for them that you
Angela.
start forgetting things. Then like Zexora on the rich guy, the moment he hit level 4, there was a plan, let's get a kill. He roams together with Ethan with Forbid, they able to get it, and then the snowball starts. Like, the plan seems to always be in place for Team LILGUN right from the start of the game, and they're able to execute it, no matter the cost.
And there's Ethan still playing on the Angela, going with a tanky build, by the way. He's not going to flash out the Oasis. Then I saw was it a Radiant armor earlier? He's going with a lot of tankiness items, and he's in the front line. He's using this Angela a bit more like a mobile. He's not just relying only on the hard guard. He's relying on being able to stay